Hi everybody, Sandy here from Sandi Cooks. Today I am going to make chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. Or I'm going to say I'm going to start it today, I'll finish tomorrow. Because this is a custard recipe. So whenever you do a custard, it usually has to chill overnight in the refrigerator and then you churn it the next day to make your ice cream. I tried making chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream once before. I just used a vanilla ice cream base as it was. And I found some pre-made chocolate chip cookie dough at the store that was edible, no egg in it. So I tried it. It was okay. So I want to improve on it. And so I found another recipe, and I'm going to give it a go. And the big difference, it's not a huge difference, but the big difference is that they say the reason regular ice cream doesn't taste like it does when you do cookie dough ice cream is because they use brown sugar instead of white sugar, or at least some brown sugar instead of white sugar. It's a little bit different. So it should be interesting. Anyway, come along with me and let's make some ice cream. Well, why not? Come on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is separate 4 eggs. And again, I've told you before, I use jumbo eggs for everything. It's what my mom did, and heck, I could just stop there. My mom was a great cook and a baker, and heck, if she was able to use jumbo eggs for everything, then I sure can too. I'm going to save the whites, though, because my wife and my son like to make meringues with them. Come on. Come on, get off of there. I know there's a lot of techniques for separating eggs. Lots of people do it different ways. Plastic bottles and just grabbing it with your hands, and that's fine. However you want to do it is fine. This is the old-fashioned way, or at least an old-fashioned way. It's something I'm comfortable with. That's why I do it this way. I've tried some of the other methods. They work fine. And I still come back to this way because it's what I know and what I'm used to. And okay, I guess that's very old school and old person thinking. But it's also the truth. So there you go. Get off of there. All right. 4 egg yolks. There we go. 4 egg whites. I'm going to wash my hands. Okay. Now, the custard calls for 2 cups of half and half. Got half and half here. I've got a pint. A pint is 2 cups. So this whole thing is going in. There we go. Come on. Okay. So it does call for white sugar. I know I said that it also uses brown sugar, but it also uses white sugar. So I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. That was a half, and that's a quarter. 3/4 of a cup. Then it calls for 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. All right, here's Here's a trick I need to show you that my son Alex showed me. All right, you know how your brown sugar gets dried out and crumbly and gets hard to use? He told me to put a couple marshmallows in with the brown sugar and it'll stay moist. And at least so far, he's not wrong. All right, so this calls for 1/4 cup of brown sugar. It doesn't say packed, but you always pack brown sugar. So I'm gonna pack it. 1/4 cup brown sugar. And that is what's gonna make this taste more like chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream than just vanilla. And the next ingredient is 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm gonna put that in. Now, this recipe calls for, This recipe calls for using vanilla extract. But I got a great deal. In fact, I'll show you it. Hold on. All right. I got this amazing deal at Costco a few weeks ago. And it was 10 vanilla beans for like $12. And usually when I get these at the grocery store, they're like $8 for 1 bean. So this is awesome. I got to figure out how to open this package. I will do that in a second. And we're going to take one of these out because I'm going to use that instead of vanilla extract because it's way better. Okay, here's our bean. This is so simple. Just take a little paring knife, find the stem, and just cut straight down the middle of the bean. Just like that, into 2 halves. Okay? Easy peasy, right? Now, you just use your knife edge and scrape along the inside. And that is black gold. That is, or those are vanilla beans. It's also a little bit of material from the plant itself there. So when we are finished with this, we're going to strain it through a fine mesh strain. And in fact, we're going to put the pod into our custard as well when we cook it to impart even more flavor. All right, so now I got to do this other side. There we go. Good. Get in there. Okay, I'm going to put my pods right in there. Everything's going in. All right, but I do want every single one of these vanilla beans that I can get because I'm not kidding. That's gold. All right, that's just from the shell. All right, so there's our base. We're going to heat this up. Then we're going to add a little bit to our eggs. We're going to add eggs back in here. And then it has us strain the mixture after we cook it into heavy cream. So that's a little bit different than I've ever done. So we'll give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on medium low. Okay. Give it a little stir. All right, because all that sugar is sitting on the bottom here. All right, so we want to mix it up a little bit. All right, that's better. I don't feel any big heavy spots on the bottom of the pot. All right. And here I've got my eggs. I'm just going to give them a quick mix here. I probably shouldn't have used the same whisk, although this doesn't need to be whisked anymore. So it'll be fine. I'll just leave this here. This needs to heat up. I'll bring you back. Okay, like I said, it wants us to, when this is done and combined and cooked, it wants us to pour it over heavy cream. So that's 1 cup of heavy cream going into our bowl here. The recipe says to warm this. It doesn't really give us a temperature. We don't want to boil it, right? Boiling's 212. So I'm just going to get a quick check here so that we don't go too fast and boil it. All right, 72 degrees for the moment. Just going to check this again. Let's stir. All right, so we're about 100 degrees. And we want to stop it again before we get to 212, right? So I'll be happy anywhere kind of 160, 180 will be a good temperature. All right, it's climbing pretty high pretty quickly now. We're almost where I want it. So maybe another 15, 20 seconds. All right, let's check it again here. Stir it up. 160, almost 170. All right, I'm going to turn it off here. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm righty, so I'm sorry about this. We're going to pour a little bit of this into the egg. This is called tempering. What we're doing is we're adding this hot liquid to our egg to bring it up to temperature so that it's warm. Because if we just poured our egg in here and cooked it, we'd end up with scrambled eggs. We don't want scrambled eggs, so we add a little bit at a time. The recipe said half of the milk mixture, which is fine. You can see it's just liquid, and that's fine. That's what we want. We don't want scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs are bad. All right, we'll say that that's about half there. And I'm going to put this back on low. And now I'm going to go the other direction. We're going to add the egg mixture now back to the rest of the half and half. And we're going to give that a stir real quick. And then we're going to switch utensils. Because for this, now, we need a wooden spoon. And it needs to be a wooden spoon. Because this is how you tell if you can coat the back of a spoon, which is what we're going for. Right? So you can see right through there. There's nothing, yeah, not coated. So now, on low, we're going to stir this constantly until it thickens a little bit. And when it thickens, it's done. And you'll know it's thick because it'll coat the back of a spoon, which it's not doing now. Alright, so I'm going to go away for a few minutes. I'm going to keep stirring. I'll bring you back when this is pretty close, if not ready. I've been stirring it, and it's been thickening, and you can't really see it all that well on the back of a spoon. Actually, you can see it a little bit. If I show you here on a metal spoon, it'll be much more obvious. Okay? That's what we want. Turning off my heat. Alright, now, we're going to pour this through the fine mesh strainer into the half and half. No, sorry, the cream, the whole cream that's below. And here, even being careful, we got some scrambled eggs on the bottom. It's okay. That's why we're going through the strainer, right? To make sure that this doesn't get into our ice cream. I just want the liquid out of there. So I'm not gonna push it through with my spoon. I'm just gonna run it around here to try and get the rest of our liquid out of there. That's it. Oh, shit. Yeah, I just did that. I really just did that. Hopefully, I didn't get much more than just the skin. Alright, I'm going to give this a stir. And then this, once this is mixed here, is going into my refrigerator to cool overnight. Okay? There you go. So that's our base. See, there you go. Can you see that, I hope? There's our base. Notice it's not white. It's a little off-white. That's because of the brown sugar. Good. All right. I'm going to cover this with plastic and put it in the fridge. And then we have a next step to make the cookie dough. Okay, the first ingredient for making the cookie dough is flour. Plain white flour. It calls for 1.5 cups of flour. So I'm using a 1/2 cup measuring. A 1/2 cup measuring cup. That's 1, and now 1.5. Okay. All right, even though we're not baking this recipe calls for adding baking soda and baking powder because they do impact the flavor, and we want it to taste like cookie dough. I think about the only thing that we're not including is egg, right, which would make it perishable. So I'm adding a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. All right. Next, it also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. So we get that in there. And it says just to mix that together. So that's all of our dry ingredients. Okay. And now we have to do our wet ingredients, which will not include flour, of course. I'm sorry. Of course it's going to include flour. It's not going to include eggs. All right. So over here, I have a stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup of butter. I have softened it slightly in the microwave by hitting it for 10 seconds at a shot. Turning it 10 seconds, turning it 10 seconds. I only did it 3 times, and you can see it's pretty soft, okay? So you don't want to go much past that. And that had been in my refrigerator. All right, then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of white sugar. Okay, I got a 1/4 cup measure in here. So there's a 1/4. Sorry I bumped you. Come on. Not quite there. All right, here's a 1/2. And that calls for a 1/4 of a cup, again, of brown sugar. I'm going to do that packed again. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put these away. And I'll put my mixer blade on there, and we'll get this creaming. Alright, so I'm going to use my mixing blade here to cream this. Start it on low so it doesn't get wild and start throwing stuff all over the place. Got a little sugar, brown sugar on the counter. Okay, and we can speed it up a little as it's going. And again. Nope, too fast. I also have this topper thing I can do here, which is supposed to help keep stuff in here. But now you can't see it. Alright. I'm going to let that go for about 3 minutes to cream the butter. And then I'll bring it back. I'm actually going to turn it up a little. Alright, it said to do that for about a minute, which we did. And then it says to add 4 tablespoons of milk. Now, I happen to have lactose-free milk here, because that's what my wife drinks. So I'm going to use that. Whoops, I hit you again, I'm sorry. 4 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it said 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I don't have enough in this bottle, I don't think. So let me open up the other one too. I apologize if I bump you again. All right, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Almost, not quite. You know you can make your own vanilla extract, right? It's just vanilla beans and vodka. That's it. Look up the recipe. All right, I'm gonna put this stuff away, and let's go ahead and get this going. It says on medium. I'm gonna start it on low because we got a lot of liquid in there now. Not a lot, but liquid. All right, we'll get that mixing, and I'll bring you back in a couple minutes. Alright, this isn't mixing quite as well as I want, so I'm going to just get in here with a spatula and get this stuff off of here so that... Whoa, sorry! Scrape down the sides so that I can get this all mixed up with those wet ingredients that we just added. There we go. Let's give that another shot. Alright, so once that's combined, it doesn't look very smooth, I'll tell you that much. That's what happens, I guess, when you don't use eggs. It says to slowly combine in the dry ingredients. So I'm going to add a little bit. Maybe about 1/4 there. Start it on low. A little bit more. And then you add in the chocolate chips at the very end. for the rest. Next, I'm going to go, whoa, I guess I made a little bit of a mess, didn't I? A little bit faster here. Clean that afterwards, I guess. Oh, now it's nice and smooth. Go ahead and add, you know what, before we do that, let me just scrape the sides so we know that we have a nice, I bumped you again, I'm sorry. So we know we have it all combined together. Alright. Come on. Get off of there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Add our chocolate chips. Careful, careful, careful!
Hello. What you making?
I'm making chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream.
Ah.
And I'm recording.
Did you get my text?
Probably, but I didn't see it. Alright, so we're all mixed up here. The next thing to do with this is we have to freeze it. So we're going to put it into a container, and it actually says to put it onto a baking sheet and put it in the freezer, but I don't have room for that. So I'm going to try and figure out something else. I'm not exactly sure what. Something. But here's the thing, right? There's no raw eggs in this. This is completely safe to eat as it is, so don't, go for it. Well, we did make it for the ice cream, so don't eat it all. Tastes like chocolate chip cookie dough. Don't really miss the eggs. You would if you baked it, right? They would just go to mush and they'd be completely melted onto the tray, but it's okay. We're not going to do that. All right, I'm gonna put this into something and get it in the freezer. I'll figure that out. All right, so I just have a bowl here to put it in. Come on. I think what I'm gonna do, what I did last time, was I just used a couple spoons to put little balls of cookie dough into the ice cream, but we'll see how it works. Anyway. There we go. That's all of it. All right. That's going in the freezer overnight. Okay, so the next step in making this chocolate chip cookie dough, I got my frozen cookie dough here, is I'm just gonna take a little pieces and I'm gonna roll them into little tiny balls of dough. Okay? Like that. Okay? And that's what we're gonna put then into the ice cream when it's ready. So I'm gonna just go through this whole thing and make lots of little pieces of dough like this. And yeah, that's it. I'll fast forward through this so you can see them pile up as I go. All right.
wait.
Okay, there you go. There's all the little balls of cookie dough. I'm going to put these back in the freezer, and I'm going to go start the ice cream, and then there's a step. Hi. And then there's a step where this gets added at the end of the ice cream process. Okay, here I am at my ice cream machine again. Start it. This time we're going up to ice cream, and I want to pre-cool it. You can see that. Pre-cool. It's 70 degrees now, and it'll get down to minus 15, minus 25, something like that. So now I've got my cookie dough ready to go. I've got my custard ready to go. So as soon as this thing is pre-chilled, we will start making ice cream. Okay, so as I mentioned, I put it in pre-cool mode. You can see now it's down to minus 31 degrees here. So pretty cold. I got my custard here. That's gonna go in here. And we're just gonna pour it in. Try not to hit that hole in the dasher there. That's what the mixer is called, a dasher. Don't ask me why. And as I said when I was making this, see all those little black dots? Those are your vanilla beans. We don't want to lose any of those because that is packed with flavor. So we want to make sure that we get all that. Alright, and then we get it churning, because right now if we just left this in here, right, it would freeze solid. We don't want that. Right, obviously I have to wipe the top, but there you go. Okay, and now I'll go ahead and hit start. And there you go. It's churning. So this will take about half an hour or so. I will come back and show you when it is done, and we'll put it. Well, actually, I'll have to put the cookie dough in when it's close to being done. I'll show you that, and then I'll show you when it's done too. All right, we're at the point where it says to add mix-ins, so I'm gonna do that. I really don't know how many are gonna fit in here, so maybe, I don't know, half of these, all of them, right? In theory, this recipe was for all of these. So they should all go in, right? Alex, I'm asking you. An opinion here.
Oh, God. Let's see how many can fit after half. Because we want a good ratio. And she does not sound happy.
It's okay.
Maybe a little more, but not much. I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think so too.
He says putting more in.
Yeah, well, that's what I did with the ramen the other night. And of course, we all know how that turned out. Okay, actually, I can see little balls and stuff, so I think we'll leave it there. And now we have some cookie dough that we can munch on. All right, we'll come back when this thing dings. I set it on music mode when it's done. So this is what it's doing now. Okay, so we're actually not very far off. We just added this stuff in. So it looks like ice cream. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in a container and get it in the freezer. All right, so, oh, this is cold.
I wonder why.
Okay, there's the dasher. Oh, come on. I don't know. I think maybe we could put the rest of that in there. The cookie dough. There's not that much on the bottom. Whew, it's cold. Come on. I want to get this in the freezer. I need a spoon. I think. Maybe not. Come on. Ah! I'm making a mess now. Gotta work quickly. Ooh, it tastes better than when I made it with regular vanilla ice cream. That brown sugar made a difference. A real difference. Oh. I'll tell you what, ice cream making is not non-messy. Alright, I'll put them all in. Oh, you can't see. There. They'll fit.
He called an audible.
No problem. They'll fit, no problem. All right, and that container looks about the right size, actually. That tastes good. Yep, put that on.
It's hard to do one-handed.
I know, that's why I have you videoing. Okay.
Let's get that in the freezer.
Yep, I'm gonna take that downstairs.
Oh, downstairs.
So smaller. Well, I don't think there's room up there.
We can make room.
Okay. No, we can't. That'll fit there. It'll fit right there. Okay. Ice cream! Yay! Except you can't come eat it now.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. Subscribe to Sandi Cooks on YouTube so you don't miss new recipes.